naturally. Why did you choose a career in law enforcement, Amanda?
For me, it was a natural progression. I was a probation officer for 6 years before I applied to work for the Santa Rosa Police Department. And that's law enforcement related, but it's restricted to the orders of the court. So it's kind of limiting in where you can go with it and what you can do. And I worked with some police officers, and I found it really exciting and fun. And had my heart set on Santa Rosa. That's the only agency I applied for. So that's how I ended up working here.
And how long have you been working here?
13 years.
And you're one of our field training officers like me, and
Right.
that role is essentially that we get new officers in training. We rotate with different officers, and they go to different FTOs to learn, different aspects of the
Right.
job. And,
Right.
yeah. Ryan, how about you? How come you chose a career in law enforcement?
I've always wanted to be a police officer. My dad and my grandfather and some other family were police officers in Santa Rosa actually too. And before this I was a writer, and I wanted a job that would be a little more I'd have a little more adventure, get out, help people, work with actual people, talk to people, especially people in this community. I'm from Santa Rosa, and it's a very special place to me, and I feel extremely thankful that every day I'm allowed to go out and help the people in my community, kind of help make my hometown a better place. Yeah. And I just a lot of the reasons I love being a police officer, because you work so closely with me, and I love working with people in Santa Rosa.
Yeah, I think kind of like you too. I became a law enforcement officer, 20 years ago, but I got into it because my dad retired from law enforcement, and I think I got hooked when I was like 16 on a ride along. This is great. I wanted to get into a job where, I could go out and help people, something new every day, a lot of different variety of assignments and stuff. So, thanks. I appreciate you sharing that. What is your, we all work different shifts. I work weekends, and I work like the mid graveyard shift till 3:30 in the morning. So my day may look a little different than Amanda here, who works during the day, during the week. So what's a typical day look like for you?
Right now, I am working Robert Team, which is 6 a.m. to 4 in the afternoon, Monday through Thursday. We come in and do our briefing in the mornings and learn what happened over the evening. And then typically we hit the streets and handle whatever calls come in as people are waking up, whatever problems may have occurred. Maybe a car got stolen overnight, or somebody's family member is missing, that sort of thing. And it's really, every day is different, so there's no typical day. There's nothing, just like any other shift, nothing that you could predict for the day. But since rotations are every 6 months, I'll probably go back to working weekends. I like to flip between working weekends and working weekdays because the variety for calls is so different. How
about you, Ryan? I know you're kind of recently out of the field training program, and that's what was it, about 3-4 months for you?
Yeah, 4 months.
So your days kind of look different, every day you came in the FTO program. But now that you're kind of settled into your shift, what's that looking like to you? Because I think you're on one of our busiest shifts, right?
Yeah, I am. So the field training program, you get exposed to a lot of different shifts. It's cool in that way. You get put with essentially 4 or more different FTOs, and I got exposure to pretty much almost every shift that we have. Right now, I chose to work. I got an option of a couple shifts when I got off FTO. I chose to work our Frank team, which is our weekdays, 3 p.m. to 1 a.m. So it's like a late swing shift on weekdays, Monday through Thursday. Work 4 days a week, get 3 days off. It's a really busy shift. It's one of our busiest shifts. I really enjoy it because of that. I like being busy. I like handling a lot of calls, and as a new guy, I really was craving that experience, and I really wanted to get a lot of exposure to a lot of different situations, a lot of different calls.
So for those of you just joining us, we're talking about our police officer trainee position that we're hiring for right now. Just a couple things. So if you're interested in this position, we really want to facilitate any questions you may have, so make sure you get a hold of us on Facebook and we can get those questions going and answering for you. Another thing too is the trainee position closes. You have to have your application in by the 25th of this month. So if you're interested, make sure you check us out online. Go to the police officer trainee position, and there's a lot of good information in there about that for you. So let's see. I guess we kind of keep talking about stuff. And do we have any questions coming in? Okay. So one of the things I find that I think we just said a minute ago is like the new things that we deal with every day, the variety, the challenges. What do you think is the most challenging thing for you?
You know what? I think for me, right now, it's just time management. That can be tough. I mean, I feel like I'm able to do it, but yeah, there's so much to do, and I'm not necessarily overwhelmed. But when you come in, you want to be able to take care of your old cases, do all the follow up that needs to be done, take care of your beat, take care of all the calls in your beat, and you have to make it back in time to write your reports. And
can you tell us a little bit more? You said beat for those viewers out there that maybe don't know. Can you tell us what that means?
Yeah. So the city's divided up into 9 different beats. Each officer during a shift on a patrol team is basically in charge of one of the beats. So for me, it's beat 7. So I'm Frank 7. So when I come in, I'm in charge of beat 7. That's my respected beat, so I'm taking care of all the calls in that beat. Sometimes I need some help from other officers. Maybe their beat's a little slow that day, but
yeah, we all help each other out.
Yeah, we all help. We're a
just
patrol
because we're
team.
in one beat or one area, doesn't mean we have to stay there, right? We go cover other areas of the city too and help out our partners.
Yeah,
so
we work as a team. So, and that's another thing. Going back to kind of why I like this job is a lot of teamwork, a lot of camaraderie.
Right. Even our units, when we come to work, we're called a team. It's Robert team and Frank team, because we work together as a team.
What do you think is the most challenging? Because obviously having more experience and time on different challenges.
When you say challenge, I think of why I like this job is because it's a challenge. I enjoy that every call we get dispatched to, we're just given that little bit of information and trying to map out what we think we're going to do. And sometimes it's entirely different than what we end up doing, or the information we get is nowhere near what's actually occurring. And so the challenge for me is the fun part. The challenge is every call, every day, trying to figure out how we're going to resolve the issue and what resources we can utilize and who we can pull. And like Ryan was saying, working together as a team, everybody has their strengths, and kind of mastering, figuring out who has what strengths on your team to be able to resolve the issues the best way possible. So for me, the challenge is the fun part.
So it looks like we have a question, and this may be, I guess we could all kind of answer it. What are some of the special assignments that are available and here at the department, and then what would, I guess, each one of us individually like to do? So I guess I'll just start. I'm fortunate that one of our specialty positions is being a field training officer, and in order to do that, you have to go to a week-long school on how to learn how to train and the concepts of that. So for me, I'm really fortunate. I love being a training officer. I'm also fortunate that I'm a member of our hostage negotiations team. That's a specialty assignment in our department, like the SWAT team would be, but this is for hostage negotiations. But there's a myriad of special assignments that I know you've had.
Before I was a police officer, I was a preschool teacher. I worked in a group home. I worked determining public aid for our community at Human Services. So I have an extensive background with children, and so I wanted to incorporate that into law enforcement. So I spent 5 years as a school resource officer. I have an interest in pursuing possibly working for the domestic violence unit as a detective. But I also, as you know, field training officer and hostage negotiations team member. So so many opportunities. And like I was saying just a minute ago, with everybody's different strengths, it allows everybody to have their own special niche. So some people are interested in working narcotics, or having a canine, or working, like you were saying, the SWAT team or the motor unit. Our department, we're very fortunate to have so many opportunities.
Well, being brand new, sometimes I don't know if I'll be going to any special times anytime soon, but some that really interest me, I'd say, are the downtown enforcement team, which is a group of officers uniformed who go and work with the downtown community very closely. and they patrol on like bicycles and electric motorcycles and things like that. It seems pretty cool, like a place I'd like to be someday.
Yeah, so in addition to the narcotics unit, we have violent crimes investigations unit, property crimes investigation unit, Amanda said domestic violence, sexual assault unit, just to name a few. So those are our investigations specialties. There's traffic accident investigators, motor officers. I mean, there's a whole myriad of things that you can do once you get on board here. So thanks for answering those.
Absolutely.
We have another question coming in that said, what are the minimum requirements to apply? So essentially it's, you got to be 21 years old at the time of appointment, and you have to have a high school diploma or GED. That's the minimum. There are other considerations when you look at the application on what you may need to consider when getting hired for a background investigation, but those are the minimum requirements. For any potential folks that are going to get hired on here as a trainee, they're going to have to go to the academy, right?
Yes.
So tell us what that process is like. It's been a while since I've been there.
The academy is extremely fun. I think everyone's a little bit kind of fearful at first because you're going into a whole new world, and that's this world of law enforcement. It gives you the foundation that you need, but it's a ton of fun, and I stress to anyone who's looking to go to the academy to not be afraid and just kind of get as much as you can out of it. It's a lot of fun. You go out there and it's like a boot camp almost. You wear a uniform at the Santa Rosa Junior College campus out in Windsor, at the public safety campus. You wear a uniform and you learn some penal codes and a lot of the knowledge that it takes to start off as a police officer. You get that foundational knowledge. You do a lot of scenario training. You do firearms training, defensive tactics, which is kind of hand-to-hand combat. So you do PT just about every day. You go out there and a lot of running. Well, there's a lot of running for us.
Good.
There's other kind of testing where you do push-ups and pull-ups and things of that nature. But some of the testing includes kind of a jumping over a wall or fence.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's about 6 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to practice.
Yeah, it's good to practice. That's one thing I would start practicing before I got there. Is a lot of running. Get that stamina and
Have that head start before you get there.
yeah, absolutely.
The academy too. It's what I remember at least is that it was really, as you said earlier, really academic based. So I think people need to know that if they're considering this, that it is it's a pretty cerebral job. I mean, there's so much knowledge you have to take on, not just the physical aspect, which is huge, a huge component of that, and the firearms piece and all of that. But I think at least when I went through it, like 26 learning domains or learning topics or something like that. So and I remember, I'm sure it's still the same, is that you have instructors from all over the place, all different departments that really bring a unique perspective and their experience they bring to the table when teaching and instructing out there. So, and then you have RTOs out there. Those are the kind of like the drill instructors, right?
Yeah, I think you were one, weren't you?
I was one out there for a long time ago.
Not mine, but
not yours. But yeah, so that's I think kind of an overview of what the academy's like. What you mentioned earlier about preparing, maybe like the wall and getting physically fit and all that. That's really, I think that's really huge. But it kind of leads me to think like because you went to it recently. Did you learn anything, or did you get any insight as to like what you could have done to prepare yourself even more for the academy, or were there any surprises for you or any of your colleagues?
Yeah, one thing that I would do is definitely, and it seems kind of silly, but study common penal codes. I would also, I would definitely be running more to prepare. Maybe even, there's a lot you could do.
Yeah.
Maybe even look into the learning domains if there's someone, or I think you can access the learning domains online before. So read into them a little further because they do give you them. So,
and as a police officer trainee, you get, if hired, you get paid to go to the academy. So you're getting paid to go to school, essentially learn the job. So we've had some good questions. We want more questions. If you have any, please feel free to put them on our Facebook page. I think we're going to do a follow-up to answer those, to make sure we have all the information out there to you. There's also a link in the bio for any further information or questions you have about that process. And feel free to get a hold of one of us here at the department if you have any other questions. Have a good afternoon.